All right, so hi, Rebecca.
Hi, Tracy. Good to see you.
Good to see you too. Thank you for taking your time.
Yeah.
I appreciate
No
that.
problem.
So when did you first know that you wanted to be a social worker?
So, I would say, during childhood, I knew I liked doing things to help people. You know, enjoyed elderly and I enjoyed babysitting and I just enjoyed different groups of people. And I always kind of had an interest in different cultures and learning about people. And so, yeah, from a young age, I knew that I liked working with people and helping people. And then when it was time to, start to figure out what my career was going to be, I had ideas about, maybe I could work with the homeless or, with children or at a community center. I just had all these ideas, but I actually didn't know social work was the right path. So I took classes that I thought aligned with what I wanted to do. And one of my favorites that I took as a Running Start student in high school was, at the college, but in high school, was social problems. I loved that class. And then when I got to university, I was in the sociology department, and I didn't really know what social work was at the time, but I got into an intro to social work class, and that's how I really decided, okay, social work's what I want to do. And I just didn't know what it was called.
You worked in a wide variety of settings. Can you tell me the countries that you worked in?
So I was in the Eastern Caribbean right after undergrad, so I did my bachelor's in social work, and then I thought, well, let me get some real-world experience. So I joined the Peace Corps, and with Peace Corps, you stay in one community for 2 years. So I was in a community in the island of St. Kitts for the 2 years, so countries, so the U.S., and then St. Kitts. And then I also led a program, it's like a service learning leadership program in Guatemala for a short time. So those are the places I've actually lived, but I've been able to travel some other places and do projects and things like that.
Did you do Honduras?
Honduras, yeah, that was a short-term trip that I did with a orphanage. That was a really cool project. Favorite? I guess I'll just talk about a couple of top experiences. So, Peace Corps was great because it's essentially like, here's your community. In my experience, it's not all the same for all volunteers, but my experience was, here's your community, see what they want you to do, and do some good work. That's kind of what it was like. So I got there, and I was like, okay, well, better get connected with the schools. So within the schools, I was doing different things that they had going on I would support. So like helping with different programs and things like that. And then I became an advisor they had a leadership club and an HIV/AIDS education group. So I did those, and I did some after school programming, got involved with summer camps and training youth leaders. I did a little bit of work with the elderly. There was an elderly program that was starting in the country. So just a lot of different things. I liked it because there was a lot of variety, but I just really enjoyed the people. And I guess the nice thing about that was it was kind of like, whatever you do counts. So, I'm in the evenings, like, I'm part of this dance program, and that counts. And then, I could just kind of do what I wanted, and it was all work that was supporting people and just getting to know the people. And a big part of Peace Corps, it's like, you're going to make an impact, but really they're going to make a bigger impact on you.
Right.
So, you do what you can to be, helpful and, do things that are going to make an impact on them, but, like, in turn, you're having this great cultural exchange, so it's really cool. And then I've had a lot of other jobs that I've really enjoyed. I've done some translating and interpreting, which was cool. And then another really great one, which I enjoy my job now, but I'm just thinking back. Another really great position was within, there's an agency called Communities and Schools. And so my role was kind of like a school social worker. It's really great. So it's like right now, these middle schoolers who I had back then for the years that they were in middle school, now they're starting college, and it's so cool to see like how far they've come, because these are kids who come from some really, hard backgrounds.
They could have ended up somewhere very different.
Yeah, I had one student who was homeless, and she's got a scholarship to WSU. She's starting, she just got it, and she's going to, next year she'll go to WSU. So I was like, that is so cool, yeah. So I just found that out.
Who identifies whether the kids are at risk? Is it like a teacher, parent?
So at that job, it could be anyone. So, if the teacher or parent, was like, can you reach out to the student, I could do that. But the way that we identified, like, the caseloads, because I wasn't the only one who was working with kids, I also enlisted other people in the school to like take on a certain number of students so we could serve more.
That's your job, right?
So that was
As
part
a
of the
social
job.
worker, connecting
Yeah.
everybody and
So like I
coordinating.
had a group of my own kids, and then we had like the counselors had their own, and the administrators, and even some of the like paraeducators, and we would meet to kind of talk about our goals and what was going on with our kids and all that. But basically it was looking at kids' attendance, behavior, and grades. So the kids, you know, in this range of like, you've missed this much school, your grades are this, or you have this many behavior referrals. So we tried to connect with those kids, which it could be tough, but honestly, I had them come to me, and we, so one of the first things I did when I started the job was a monthly lunch with each individual kid. So like I scheduled it out to where the kid would come,
Fine.
it was just the two of us, and we would just sit and have lunch.
Yeah.
And honestly, like something as simple as that makes such a huge impact with a student, because they don't really have that one adult that's caring and checking in on them. And so that wasn't our only contact, but that was one of the big parts of the program, was like making sure you have this time with the student just to sit down and trying to let them kind of lead the conversations and like being there, being a listener. You know, of course some of them are shy, so you're gonna have to bring it out, but
Yeah.
you know, yeah.
Someone who lets them know they matter.
Exactly, yeah. And then, you know, it's connecting them to some of the other things that can support them. So I'm not doing everything, you know.
Yeah, but
They're still getting support through all these other programs and
Yeah.
things, so.
Well, thank goodness, because who could do it all,
Oh my.
right? If there's one thing that would make it easier for social workers to succeed in their goals of helping people lead healthier, more fulfilling lives, can you, I know it's a broad question,
Yeah.
but if you just have.
I think a big thing is you want to be empowering. So you want to encourage people to build on their strengths. But you can be the constant, but when they're kind of wavering and doing different things, like you can't, as a social worker, you can't take all that on because it's too much for you. So you do what you can, and you be available to, you know, your clients. Of course, you can't be fully available because that's also not healthy, but you know, they know that they have you to communicate with and to encourage them, but you can't do it all for them, and you can't take it all on because that's just not going to work. Like, it's just not healthy for you. So you have to have the boundaries, the healthy boundaries, but also just try to stay positive and, you know, setting goals with them but that are realistic, so that you're not kind of encouraging them in a way where they can't meet
that's
the
not
expectations helpful. Or trying to also connect them to a bunch of other you know, people and resources, because you want them to be able to gain from other people and experiences too, and they shouldn't be relying fully on you either. You know, that's also not gonna work well for them or for you.
No.
So yeah. And then, you know, when it's time for them to kind of fly and move on, then it's just like, okay, you know, you can come back and share your success with me, but for now, like, we don't, you know, it seems like you're good and you don't need me anymore, and that's that's a success.
Yeah.
When you actually when they don't need you.
Exactly. Yeah.
So you still like to hear their success stories, but you don't need to continue if it's, you know, if they've gotten to where they need to be, kind of thing.
Yeah.
Hopefully that makes sense. And
It does,
did that
it
answer
does.
the question though?